Okay, now, on the surface, that's fairly simplistic. It doesn't take much to figure that out. Total of goods and services produced. Everything produced, in other words. True or false?
True.
Okay. Is everything that is produced counted at the time of production?
No.
In GMP. Explain that, bud.
Okay, like it says,
This will be on the final.
say that there's a piece of steel made, and then they use that steel, and the steel is put into a new car. They wouldn't count the piece of steel because it's part of the car. So you only count it at the time that the complete good is sold.
Okay. Makes sense? It's got to be a final product.
But now say if there's one, there's a steel company, then when they sell it to the car company, is that
Not counted yet.
Okay.
Okay, it's got to be the final product, as Bud said, going into the car. Okay, now that can be a little confusing, but the reasoning here, as your book explained, is that you've got to keep things separate if you're going to get any type of accounting as to your true GMP figures. If you counted that steel when it was sold to the car company and then counted it again into the cost of that car, you're duplicating efforts. So you're trying to get it where it's one count and one owner. Yes, sir?
How do they avoid this double counting?
Okay. Good question, and the answer is they don't at all times. There will always be in your GMP figures some duplication.
Okay.
It's important that you realize, Dan, Wendy, that GMP is as accurate as the accounting process can be. And no accounting process is 100% accurate, because you've got human error there. There's going to be some duplication. Not intentionally, but sometimes it happens.
Is there a way that they can avoid a lot of it? How do they
Well,
separate terms?
Yeah, some things simply are not counted. Again, they can avoid that by looking at a final product. Is that the final sale of that particular product?
Okay.
Example again, let me give you perhaps even a simpler example. Randy grows wheat. He sells the wheat to the middleman, Felix here. Is it counted then?
No.
No. When's it probably going to be counted?
When it makes
Okay, from the bread to the consumer buys the bread. Final product. Now, if Randy grows wheat and consumes the wheat himself, makes his own bread, there are allowances to include that in the GM figure because that is the final product. Okay? Dan grows vegetables, consumes it himself. That would be a final product. But if he sells it again to the middleman for distribution, then it's only that final product.
How do they calculate it out? Who does?
Okay, the government accounting offices, usually the GAO, which is a term you might remember, General Accounting Office, is responsible for calculating GMP figures. And we do this on a yearly basis. Of course, we have the GMP figures. Usually we try to project GMP figures again on a quarterly basis, okay, every 3 months. But annually we have a GMP figure.
What's that stand for?
General Accounting Office. This is a government agency that is responsible for calculating GMP. Yes, sir.
Well, in one of the questions that we were supposed to do, it said, what incomes do we add up to get our national income?
Okay, now we're talking about not necessarily national income at this point. We're talking about gross national product.
But what I want to know is that just when they say to add up, is that like personal income, that kind of stuff?
Yes, in that case, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Gordon, question?
Yeah. Now I understand that stuff like about a car as part of your gross national product. But what about say you did like you had a service that there was no tangible evidence of?
Okay. Good question. And some services simply cannot be monitored, and whether you consider it fair or not. Missy, let's say that she marries some rich guy. She stays at home, takes